Morning guys, welcome back, and today we are going to Port Elliot Steam Fair and Vintage Track Rally. So, you know, it seems to have been enjoyed before, so we thought we'd do another one, and my wife loves vintage tractors and stuff like that as well, so we'll have a good look around and show you a lot of things. I think we're going to break it down into maybe 3 or 4 because I don't want it to make the content to be too long and boring for you, so I want to try and keep it interesting. I'm going to try, if I can, and get some people to show me how things work, because obviously I don't know anything about steam engines, so if I can get someone to walk me around how one drives, I might do an individual video on that, and yeah, we'll see how we gone, and I'll get back with you when we get there, so I'll see you in a bit. Right, well, we're here now, and as you can see, it's already starting. Can't wait. Liz is buzzing. Right, welcome back. Here we are, and what we've got, I've just talked to a lovely guy, Pete here, and he is going to walk us around this wonderful little contraption, and it's a miniature, and he's going to first walk us around, tell us what things are and what they do, and then after that he's going to actually explain how to drive it, so can't wait, and yeah, let's get into this. Okay, so this is Pete.
Morning. How are you?
So what he's going to do, we're now going to start with the fire, which is obviously the heart of the machine, and we're going to go from there. So Pete is now going to guide us around and show us what is what and how it all works. So on to Pete.
Right, so there's the fire. We're just lighting up at the moment, so that there's a fire in there. It might blow back a bit because of the wind directions swirling around. So that the principle of these is we're using coal to generate the heat, we're boiling water to make steam, we're capturing the steam in the boiler. At the moment you can see from the gauge we have no steam pressure because it's just in the process of being lit up. We do have water in the boiler, which is essential, and there's our water level on there. All right, we have a second gauge down on the bottom here, which is the one that tells me how much water I've got in the tender, which is my spare water. The water on traction engines is critical. Fire, if it goes out, alright, your engine goes to sleep. Run out of water and life gets exciting very quickly, and that is bad engineering practices.
Right.
So from that point of view, we have various safety devices on the engine. The pressure gauge tells us what's going on. If we look up ahead, well, if we walk around the front of the engine, we have a pair of safety valves here, mounted up on top of the cylinder. The steam is contained within the boiler. It comes up internally through here, up onto the top, where we can then regulate it to let it into the engine with a slide valve. But from the safety point of view, when the pressure comes up to the, in this case, 125 psi, the safety valve will open to release that excess steam. If we get the balance right, because to fire one of these, if we go back down to the other end just for a minute, when you're driving one of these, you're balancing the heat of the fire to your water there, to your steam pressure. So if you're just sitting around, you don't need a lot of fire, you've got some steam and everything stays fairly stable. But when you start to work them, then just like the full-size engines, because people tend to think these are toys or, you know, gizmos, and you know, they don't really work. To drive one of these is exactly the same as driving a big one. It's on a smaller scale, but if you make the same errors as a big one, you have the same problems. So that when you're driving, you're having to make sure ahead as to know what your terrain is. So if it's starting to go uphill, you need to make sure before you get there that you've got enough fire and enough steam to make it.
Yep.
But if you end up with too much, when you climb the hill, as soon as you get to the top, it'll just blow its head off. The safety valves will open because you've got too much heat.
So does that mean then, do you lose power because it's blown its head off, as you say? Or...
No, you're just wasting energy. You're wasting your coal.
Yep.
But more to the point is you're wasting your water.
Yep.
You ideally, to drive this engine really efficiently, we keep it at 120.
Right, so 120 is its optimum range.
Yeah, at 125 the valves will open, and
Right.
you're losing your energy. The steam is your energy.
Yeah, yeah. Guys, I see there's a little red mark
Yep.
on the pressure gauge that actually shows 120.
Well, that's actually 125.
Oh, 125.
Yes.
Yeah.
Without
Yeah.
being, yeah.
No,
because
that's perfect.
That's
yeah.
what this engine is certified at.
Yeah.
So that the disc that you can see is up on your side. Sorry.
That's right.
Walk all the way around. So,
Yeah.
all right. And that is the NTT disc, which tells you that the engine is insured, it's
Yeah.
pressure tested, and it's road legal.
Right, so it's basically almost like an MOT.
Yes, it is. Without one of these, you can't come to an event.
Right.
Simple as that.
So yeah, okay, that's basically
It's your
make
validation.
it. It's a safety. Yeah, it's
Yes.
a safety inspection of the vehicle,
Absolutely.
and it is a vehicle. At the end
Yeah.
of the day, it's a moving vehicle.
If we turn the motion over by hand, because we have no steam at the
Yeah.
minute, then when it turns over, we've got the cylinder here.
Yep.
There's a piston in it, and it can be, at the moment, the piston is going forwards,
Yep.
so have steam behind it. The slide valve changes and puts steam on the other end and
Yep.
pushes the piston back, so that you've got these two are working out of phase with each other. One goes forward and the other one goes backwards.
Yep.
But that's sliding the slide valve in here to let the steam, once you let it come in, go into the cylinder either end.
Lovely.
Once it does that, it converts linear motion into rotary motion.
Into a crank, basically.
And of course, once you've got rotary motion, then you can harness that to drive something, in this case the gears, to make it move.
Yep.
Or on the agricultural engines, they put belts on here. And as you'll probably find I know when you go up and look around the rest of this show, there are a couple of engines belted up there driving store benches.
Yep.
And that's when you can see them really working.
Is it like a PTO on a tractor?
Yes, exactly the same.
Yes.
Except
Yeah.
everything has to be taken off my crankshaft, because
Yep.
I don't have any gearboxes apart from just the drivetrain.
So, I've seen here, looking at here, they are oil pots.
Yes, they are.
So you keep the oil, these here. Now, obviously, I'm not in any way, shape, or form a mechanic for these. I don't know, but it's obviously crossover. So you have oil pots, so you keep the bearings well lubricated. Is it a specific type of oil that has to go in?
I use gear oil in these because it's thicker. Because of course, when it's hot, it thins the oil down.
Of course.
It's all lost lubrication,
Yep.
so that what you put in ends up either on the engine
Or on the floor. Yep. Yep.
But more importantly, on the top here, that one there, this one is special steam oil.
Right.
Because that is thick and gloopy, because that is pumped in via a couple of non-return valves into the steam chest
Yep.
to lubricate the piston.
Right.
Because otherwise
okay.
you've got wets.
It's so hot it will just dissolve it before it
and
does
you've
any
got
good.
steam, which is, funny enough, highly abrasive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
If it can get out of a hole, it will just cut out a bigger hole.
Yep.
So that the cylinder needs to be lubricated. So these little Foster oilers just go round.
I was going to say, seeing that there, what is that ratchet for? Because I was just about to say, what's that?
Well, if you do the same thing on here. If I turn,
It clicks.
If I turn it,
Yeah.
if I turn it round.
So every time that clicks, does it feed a little bit of oil in?
And what it does is that in the centre of here in the body,
Yep.
there's an eccentric that gradually pulls a piston back against a spring in here.
Yep.
Takes a charge of oil, and at the critical moment, it flicks over the top and just
Pumps
shunts the piston forward.
Yep.
There's a non-return valve in there,
It's
and
there.
there's another one there,
Yep.
because when it's working, of course, there's
pressure in there.
120 psi of steam
Yeah.
wanting to come back into this.
Got that.
And oil and water don't mix.
Only under pressure.
Oh well, yes. Then you end up with emulsion, which is no use
Yeah.
putting back in to
Yeah.
lubricate the cylinder. So I want oil to go into there.
Yeah.
It can mix in there and create an emulsion inside.
Yeah.
But I don't want oil back in this lubricator.
No. Hence, when the head gasket goes on the car, you get what I call chicken soup.
Correct. And this will do exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yes. You just get the emulsion.
Yeah. 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 Because water only mixes with oil under high pressure,
Correct.
but you can't separate them afterwards. When you get them hot, all it does it just goes more gloopy.
Yes.
It just thins it out a bit, but you never truly separate.
You
them.
never truly separate
No,
it back out
once-
because it changes the structure
Yeah.
slightly.
Yeah, that's amazing. Right, now let's go into how you drive it. So let's move on to that.